Hello, and welcome back to Well, That's Interesting, the only podcast that's desperately trying to watch the National Dog Show without having to subscribe to something.
Oh my God, it's impossible. We can't. Hi, I'm Marissa.
I'm Jill Chacha.
We can't watch this goddamn dog show.
I know.
It's supposed to be one of the few free things that you get on Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. And it's impossible to watch this year. We looked very hard. So if you also really wanted to watch the dog show, listen to this.
Instead,
because
we decided to record, even though we could have watched puppies.
Yeah.
Or cute dogs anyway.
And we're free.
We are free.
Because we love you.
We're free. All you have to do is rate us on
Yeah.
Apple. That's a thing you can do. That's free.
Yeah.
And helps us, helps everybody.
You are going to rate the dogs.
That's right. Judge us.
Judge us.
That's right. Put your hand in an uncomfortable spot and judge us. Give us a squeeze. Make us run around the ring a little bit.
Yeah.
And
We
then,
will.
You know, to check our teeth.
Yeah. Compare us to, what was it? The Doggo Argentino.
Yes, the
New
dog.
breed alert. Yes, we did research it
It's
before we figured out that we can't watch the show.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there are 3 new breeds, Doggo Argentino, and just like the greatest name for a breed.
Amazing. We got so pumped up for all these dogs. I think this podcast is now about the dog show that we didn't see.
Oh, all right, fine. Be that way, NBC. Fuckers. We'll just talk about episode 015. What if you stood in front of the world's loudest speakers?
Great question.
That's right.
I gotta know because I think I might have done it in my early 20s once, and nothing has been the same since.
Okay, but let's start quiet. How about that? Very, very, very fucking quiet. And then
Sounds
we'll
good.
turn this fucker up to 11. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Now, picture it. It's the summer of Boomer Love 1969, and a young Steve Orfield is fresh out of college. Like most of us, Steve's first job totally blew. He worked as a salesman in the furniture industry, selling cubicles that offered state-of-the-art, air quotes, speech privacy. Meaning, supposedly, you wouldn't be able to hear your coworker arguing with their spouse over the phone in the next office. But this was the early 70s at this point, and quiet technology just couldn't silence the amount of drugs everyone was on. So Steve recognized the flaws in this equipment and realized there's an industry here just waiting to be perfected. Thus began Orfield Laboratories, located in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
It sounds very like a science fiction novel.
It's super weird. Yeah. There, companies can test the physical effects of their products' sounds. Let me read that one more time. There, companies can test the physical effects their product sounds have on consumers, and scientists can perform studies without external interference. For example, Harley-Davidson uses the lab to measure how the sound of motorcycles impacts hearing.
Wow.
There's even been studies on how lighting in retirement homes affects the cognitive functions of its residents.
What?
Now, the lab is truly known for the anechoic chamber. Now, would you like to describe, I'm going to pull up a photo here, this anechoic chamber?
I would love to. It looks very 70s. It's... how to describe? Okay, so it looks like the walls are these sort of wooden shelves that alternate between vertical and horizontal. So there are 3 vertical, 3 horizontal, over and over again. You got to see this picture because I'm very bad at describing it.
You're doing great.
And in the middle, and it's a small room, it's a square room as far as I can tell. The middle of the room looks like a speaker on a tripod.
There you go.
Bam.
Perfect description.
Thanks.
This room may be the quietest place on Earth. Barely any sound makes its way in, and it is nearly completely void of reverberation. That means 99 to 100% of sound out of your mouth or a Harley is totally absorbed by those 3-foot fiberglass wedges. Those were those things you were describing.
Fiberglass. Okay.
The sound of your voice or the rev of an engine travels through the air and then disappears. In the normal world, or a normal room even, those sound waves travel far and wide, knocking into objects, creating echoes and distortions that actually help us orient ourselves and other objects in space and shit. Now, most quiet rooms produce about 30 decibels of feedback, either because they're just not sealed so well or they're just not padded well enough,
Yeah.
But this place produces negative 13 decibels, a sound way below anything a human can hear.
Wow.
So, if you find yourself locked in this room, in the dark, some freaky shit happens.
Oh my God. Like what?
So let's get locked in. Let's find out.
No, I don't want to get locked in. I'm kidding. I'm yes-anding. Yes, lock us in.
Almost immediately, your body tries to adapt to the soundlessness, straining to pick up smaller and smaller noises. In fact, all the noises you start to pick up are coming from your own body.
What?
According to Steve, within 10 minutes, your ears start to buzz.
Oh my God.
Shortly after, you hear your own heart beating and blood flow. You hear your own lungs inflate and your stomach digesting.
No!
You can even hear your joints rubbing together. I know. By 30 minutes, most people fall over from disorientation. According to Verge.com, the longest time anyone has been able to stay inside this room alone and in the dark is 45 minutes.
Oh my God, this is horrifying.
Yeah.
Now I want to do it for like 2 minutes.
Popsci.com asked Steve about his interactions with the room, and he said, quote, "I don't go in often. I have a mechanical heart valve, and I can't stand the whirl of its machine-like clicks for too long."
Wow.
End quote. Yeah. So that's our preview for today's episode. Silence can drive you mad, but let's find out what the loudest noise may do to you.
Oh my God.
After the break.
Oh.
Hello, everyone. You may recognize me as Gabby from the History of Everything podcast.
And my name is Brenna, and you don't recognize me from anything yet.
Together, we're two scientists who explore all of the weird little questions and conspiracies of the universe in our new podcast, Mystery of Everything. Everything has an explanation.
We hope.
But that is what we're here to figure out. We will dive into the science behind many popular conspiracy theories, such as vaccines causing autism, flat earth theory, and was the moon landing fake? And if so, why the heck would anyone even do that?
But it's not just conspiracies. There's a lot of cool mysteries that we will attempt to use science to explain, such as near-death experiences, what made the Vikings go berserk, and can I control my co-host with MK Ultra?
Wait, what? Anyway, make sure to check out the Mystery of Everything podcast everywhere where you find your podcasts.
We're the All Creatures Podcast. Each week, Angie and I explore and share amazing details about the many animals we share our world with.
Plus, Chris and I are both PhD scientists and educators. So we do the deep dives in the scientific research and then come back and share what we learn in a fun and casual way. We also speak with other scientists, animal experts, activists, and many other conservation enthusiasts from all over the planet.
So you can find the All Creatures Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, Jill Chacha here from Well, That's Interesting, and I am absolutely thrilled to tell you about Spotify for podcasters. I use it, I love it, and it all started by downloading the free Spotify for Podcasters app, which has all the tools you need in one place to record and edit your masterpiece of a podcast. Spotify for Podcasters also distributes your show to all major platforms. So when you hit publish, your episodes will stream not only on Spotify, but I'm talking about the Apples, the Googles, Stitcher, Good Pods, the other ones. You get the idea. And you can monetize your podcast with no minimum listenership required. You could also set up monthly subscriptions and record ads just like this one. So what are you waiting for? Download Spotify for Podcasters today and start changing the world. Oh, and please, stay interesting. And we're back.
We're so back and so still not watching the dog show.
No dogs.
By the way, if you figure out how to watch it for free, like the free is possible, like not a free trial, DM us at Well, That's Interesting Pod on Instagram.
That's right. Teach us a hacking thing.
Yeah, teach us. You kids, you 18 to 23-year-olds who are listening, we see you.
Probably younger.
We see you. Probably younger.
Okay, now, before we crank this shit up, let's just take a look at what sound is, actually. Ye Olde Dictionary describes it as, quote, continuous and regular vibrations, and basically pressure waves moving through the air.
Okay.
And because sound is a physical thing, it could hurt you real bad.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever heard of something called long-range acoustic devices, or LRAD?
No.
Okay. How about a sound cannon?
No, but now I'm nervous.
According to pitchfork.com, the long-range acoustic device, or LRAD, is a speaker system and a sound energy weapon developed in the early 2000s for use by, you guessed it, the U.S. military.
Oh, no.
That's right. And of course, whenever those boys have, the other little boys want too, meaning police departments.
Oh, no.
Where there's a protest, there's an LRAD system. And it can be used as a PA system to give, like, commands to a crowd to disperse and shit. But that's not fun for the jerk-offs in blue.
Of course not.
What they really like to use it for is something called the deterrent tone.
Oh, no. That sounds bad.
Again, according to Pitchfork, quote, the LRAD made one of its earliest appearances in the U.S., policing at the 2004 Republican National Convention in New York City, which, fun side note, I was there with my family marching, which was fun. It was later used against Black Lives Matter protests in Ferguson and New York, and at the protests against the Dakota Access Pipeline in Standing Rock. The precise number of police departments that own LRADs is unknown, but they are relatively easy for departments to acquire under the federal program known as 1033, which gives law enforcement and other municipal agencies access to surplus military equipment, end quote. Yeah.
Oof.
Now, I'm going to play one example of a sound cannon. This was used against protesters at the G20 summit in Pittsburgh back in 2009. Okay. So we're just going to have ourselves a listen here.
Okay. Oh, God! Oh, my God. Okay.
A little longer? You good?
No, stop. Stop. I can't.
Okay. Now, can you just describe, like, the crowd and how the police looked in that video?
Okay, crowd immediately ran. Everyone ran, kind of put their heads down, ran.
Yeah.
The police, though, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if my ears are still ringing.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
My head is throbbing.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm
Is that
sorry.
the coffee or is that the thing? The police seemed okay.
Yeah.
I guess they had earplugs or something in their helmets.
Yeah.
They were wearing helmets. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
So, yeah, and the crowd itself wasn't that big, which honestly, I think there were more police.
Oh, yeah, and they weren't doing anything.
Yeah, they were standing around.
Just walking.
Yeah. So, obviously, to us as viewers watching a YouTube video, I mean, that sound was mostly kind of annoying. It affected you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
It made my heart beat a lot faster.
my heart is like racing a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, for those folks on the street, those decibels were acting like little police batons whacking at the hairs and inner eardrum of everyone not protected. Sound cannons can reportedly emit pulses of up to 162 decibels. And just as a reference, sound at 150 decibels is like standing next to a jet engine, which could easily blow out your eardrum.
Oh my God. So these people could have been affected for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Their hearing could have been completely wiped out.
Yeah.
If someone was really sensitive or just close enough.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's very irresponsible. We'll talk a little bit about it. Now, this video wasn't an example of 162 decibels, but judging by how quickly civilians hauled ass out of there, it must have been painful.
Yeah.
Quoting Pitchfork, A person's distance from the sound, duration of exposure, and pre-existing body conditions all contribute to their experience and long-term impacts of the LRAD. Short-term exposure to loud noise, like the LRAD's deterrent tone, may cause a sensation of stuffed or ringing ears, known as tinnitus. This may cease after minutes after exposure or last for days. Other sound injury symptoms include headaches, nausea, sweating, vertigo, and loss of balance. Signs of more serious injury include vomiting and mucus or blood from the ears.
Oh my God.
Exposure to acute loud sounds can tear eardrums and destroy the hair cells in the cochlea, which causes permanent hearing loss, end quote. It should be noted in the video, we didn't go towards the end, but if you roll, just if you go to Pitchfork and just like search for the LRAD, you'll see that video. That massive truck carrying the sound cannon, it just loiters in the neighborhood. It just loiters and just sits there and continued to emit those pulses even after the crowd dispersed, which means the residents in the neighborhood were exposed to this fucking pulse for an unknown period of time.
I was going to say, people live there.
Yeah, it was a regular neighborhood in that video. It was just,
oh my God.
Yeah. And that truck was just think of like a double parked truck in your neighborhood, and instead of just sitting there, it's just emitting these these painful pulses.
That's disgusting.
Now this shit isn't fun. It's a bummer. So for fun, we're going to have to leave the United States and talk about massive horns.
Fuck yeah, massive horns.
Right.
Let's do it.
One particular horn at the large European acoustic facility in the Netherlands. That's what we're going to talk about. Here's a photo of it. You want to describe the photo of this horn?
I would love to. Mostly I would like to talk about the person in the foreground of the photo. Wait, okay, let me talk about the horn, and then I'll talk about this awesome person. Okay, so this looks like something from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the scary version. I think the one from, it was the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like that. It looks like this sort of minty green wall, and then what takes up most of the wall is this funnel going into the wall. So it's like, it keeps getting deeper and deeper. It's white. It looks like you're almost looking like in someone's ear.
Yeah.
And it kind of ends in a little hole. And then next to it is this very excited looking technician, I'm guessing. He is smiling. He's pressing some sort of button on the wall. He is pumped about whatever is happening here.
Yeah, he's really enjoying life.
He is living his best horn life. And I'm so happy for him. Unless he's hurting people. Then no thanks.
Luckily, no. This is a really nice example of like technology being used for like good and shit.
Amazing.
It's
good.
Like good, nerdy, adorable purposes, and very necessary purposes. The whole point of this thing is to shoot sound of up to 154 decibels at computer parts, satellite parts, and really anything that will be sent into space, all to determine if those parts can survive the intense noise of a launch and not break.
Ah,
Yeah,
I like
good.
that.
Yeah.
Very nerdy.
very nerdy. It's not being shot at people. It's very nice.
Awesome.
For safety measures, the horn is surrounded by 1.5 foot thick walls made of steel reinforced concrete. And those walls are painted with a resin that reflect noise back into the chamber. So that's that fresh minty green on the wall.
It's 70s mint.
Yes.
That's what I would call it.
It also only operates when the doors are closed, so this is very responsible, and they're just not letting the thing rip and affect everyone in the neighborhood. It's really nice of them just to, safety.
That's very nice. That's why he's smiling.
Let's get a little hypothetical here, though.
Okay, let's
And
do it. I'm ready.
Say we went on a European vacation,
Pumped already?
specifically to the Netherlands, and we stood in front of this horn.
Okay.
And let's say the horn could emit sound of up to 200 decibels.
I would pass on this day trip. But let's talk about it.
Okay, so what would happen? Of course, immediately we'd go deaf, blowing out our eardrum and such. But other fun things would happen too. Now, when sound travels, right, it pushes and compresses air. And this makes a few of our body parts that have air in them pretty damn vulnerable.
Oh, no.
Parts like our lung and GI tract.
Uh-oh. I'm seeing the future, and it's not good.
Yeah. Our intestines, though, are pretty tough. It would take something like a shock wave from a bomb for them to rupture.
Okay.
So right now, we feel cramping and super, super nauseous as air tries to escape from our butts. Not as embarrassing, but very much more deadly. Our lung tissue would practically explode. Quote, extreme sound vibrations could cause rapid overexpansion and destroy the small alveoli sacs that line your lungs. Alveoli are the key intermediary between your lungs and blood that allow the gas exchange to take place. Without your alveoli, you wouldn't oxygenate, and your blood and your lungs would be useless. End quote.
That's horrifying, but I also want to say alveoli is the cutest word in the world. It makes me think of very small ravioli, and no one needed to know that. Not a soul in the world.
I think everybody thought of pasta. It's like really important pasta in your body.
Body pasta.
Body pasta.
Oh, your lung pasta. You don't want to hurt your
lung pasta.
Your lung pasta.
So yeah, in sum, we'd suffocate, literally being smothered to death by sound.
Wow.
And that quote was from "And Then You're Dead" by Cody Cassidy.
This makes me think, like, what is even the point of like a nuclear weapon when you could just have this horn?
Yeah. Different ways to kill people.
Yeah.
That's
Let's just not do any of it.
That's just
Let's just
so not
let
good.
us watch the dog show.
That's all we wanted.
I just wanted to watch the dog show. It's fine. I'll get over it.
Okay.
I won't, but it's fine.
So if you think, suffocating by sound is a weird way to go, some Americans said, hold my beer. The CDC has something called a National Death Index.
Okay.
Give it a Google, and once you reach the website, you can access yearly reports that compile how people died.
Oh.
And being smothered by sound is not the weirdest thing.
Oh.
I really didn't know how to end the episode, so I just looked this stuff up.
I love it.
So, in 2016, there were some standouts. One person died of scarlet fever.
Oh, no. How did that happen?
No idea. One person died in a boiler explosion.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
And so one person died during the administration of an enema.
Even more embarrassing.
Now, 2 people died from exposure to sunlight, which could mean sunstroke, but I'm not sure because there wasn't an explanation.
How did that happen? I thought we were all staying inside. Oh, this is 2016. Back when we left the apartment.
Yeah, every now and then. 4 people died of botulism, which is one of the worst fucking deaths I can think of.
Yeah.
And lastly, 5 people died after coming in contact with a venomous spider, but 8 people died while hand gliding. So,
you know what? Hang gliding, I've never trusted it. It's always stressed me out, and I'm not going to do it.
No.
And you know what else I'm not going to do? I'm not going to watch that dog show. We'll see how many times I can bring it up. This was amazing.
It was amazing. Check out that website if you want to do something on Thanksgiving Day. Way to celebrate it.
Bother your neighbors.
And I guess stay interesting.
Please do.